Well, hi, I'm Mr. Steve, and I am here to tell you a story. Well, today's story is called Sit, Marley, Sit. If you have a dog, you've probably said that an awful lot. Sit, and stay, and sometimes roll over, and different things. Well, this book, it was written by Janine Lee Nye, and all the pictures were drawn by Tammy Lyon. And it was printed by a company called Harper Festival. And it's Sit, Marley, Sit. This is a little bit longer book. It had a lot more words in it. Well, Marley couldn't wait for his first day of obedience school. Neither could his family. Cassie and baby Louie hoped that Marley would finally learn to fetch. Mommy and Daddy would be happy if Marley learned how to heel. Okay. And that's what an obedience school does. An obedience teaches the dog how to obey, how to take different commands. Now, when they talk about a dog heeling, that means the dog needs to walk by your side and not too far away. And when you stop, the dog stops. And if you stop for a long time, the dog will sit down. And then when you start walking again, the dog will get up and he'll start walking alongside of you. That's called heeling. Well, they finally make it to obedience school. But as the family pulled into the school's parking lot, Marley grew kind of nervous. "Don't worry, Marley. It'll be fun, you'll see." And you can see Marley's not having any of it. He does not want to get out of that van. Kind of like when I take my dogs and I go to get their hair cut or they have to go see the veterinarian. A lot of times they don't want to get out of the van, but they go eventually. And so did Marley. Marley eventually went. The reason he went, though, is Marley spotted other puppies in his class and decided that Cassie was right. And he bolted toward the other dogs in the obedience class. And off he goes, knocking Cassie over. "Marley, wait," Daddy cried, chasing after him. Then he saw the dog trainer step right into Marley's path. Okay. That was Marley, Daddy told the teacher. "Sorry, he can be a little naughty sometimes." "Most times," Mommy added. "There are no bad dogs, only bad dog owners," the teacher said. She stared at Mommy and Daddy. "Now, who is working with Marley today?" Mommy and Daddy glanced at each other. They weren't really sure. But Mommy finally piped up and said, "He is," meaning Daddy's going to be working with Marley today. Daddy said, "She is," at the same time. So they both pointed to each other. I don't think either one of them really wanted to work with Marley. Well, Mommy and Daddy tossed a coin to see who was going to work with Marley that day. And Daddy lost. Well, first the owners had to show their dogs who was boss. And Marley figured out that one right away. I think Marley thought he was the boss. Next, Daddy tried to teach Marley a command. "Sit," he ordered. But Marley didn't want to sit. He wanted to smell the daffodils over by the oak tree. And he wanted to smell them right now. He didn't care about sitting or staying or healing. He wanted to go over and smell those daffodils by the tree. And that can happen a lot of times when you're trying to train a dog. If there are too many distractions, it's awful hard to train them. Well, the teacher said you have to be firm with your dog or else he'll never behave. Let me show you how it's done. Okay. She's going to show him how it's done. Okay. Stay, she says. Heel. Okay. Then she had a new command. Help! Marley, I think, was training the trainer. Well, after school, the teacher wanted to talk to the family about Marley. I don't think Marley's ready for obedience training, she said. At least not in my class. Maybe you shouldn't bring him back. Ever. She was not happy with Marley. Kicked out of puppy school? It was hard for the family to believe. Well, actually, it wasn't that hard. We tried to warn her that Marley was special. You mean naughty, don't you, Mommy asked. Right, Dad said. Come on, everybody. It's time to take our naughty dog home. So they all pile into the car and get Marley in the car. He was probably the first one in. He was ready to leave. And they got ready to go home. Well, the drive back was quiet. Mommy and Daddy brought baby Louie inside the house. Cassie stayed in the yard to practice with Marley, even though he didn't learn a thing about behaving. She's really trying, but he's more interested in the birds and the bird bath than he is about learning commands. An hour later, Mommy called them in for lunch. Marley raced so fast to his food bowl he knocked over the kitchen table. Spaghetti hit the ceiling. Meatballs flew across the room. Cassie and Daddy tried to help clean up, but it was no use. Sit. Just sit. Everybody sit, Mommy shouted. And then, look, Waddy, Baby yelled. She was trying to say, look, Daddy. He pointed at Marley, and Marley was sitting. He got it. Well, Marley learned to behave after all. Sort of. I had a dog like Marley, and he was the most fun dog, but just wouldn't listen to your commands. He would just go anywhere he wanted to go. And he was always good. He didn't leave the yard, but he wouldn't come to you unless he was just good and ready. But he was a very special dog. I think all dogs are special, especially yours. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story, and we'll be telling some more stories soon. So, in the meantime, I'm Mr. Steve, and I will be coming back to you with another story. Bye.